What stirred you in the decision to be a coach? Because you got to have that.
Yeah.
And you got to have that.
I wanted to be able to make somebody feel like my high school coach made me feel.
Mm-hmm.
And
talk how special he was to you also.
Yeah, he still is. Still is to this day. I talked to him today.
Yep.
I talked to him once or twice a day a week. Mm-hmm. When I was coaching, it'd be 2 or 3 times a week. But also, I love the team play thing of basketball. Mm-hmm. And so when I was 14, 15, 16, I was calling everybody and telling them where the pickup game was.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 18, 19, and 20 home in the summer, I was calling everybody and telling them what our tea time was. Mm-hmm. So I was always trying to put a team together. Mm-hmm. And for me, basketball was the greatest team sport. I mean, Theo, you were a tremendous basketball player, played in the NBA. And if you were to take shooting or rebounding or defense or passing or anything, you wouldn't be an NBA level player, but you were a great team player. You knew how to play the game. You were a great passer. You saw the floor well. You could defend. You could lead people. And I thought if I could get a bunch of guys together and make them or get them to make sacrifices for a common goal, our teams would always be better.
For sure.
So for me, it was, as I said, freshman year, I knew I wanted to coach, but in college, I used to come through Carmichael Auditorium and sit in the stands and watch Coach Smith practice for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then I would go to work.
Yeah.
I was the only person that was ever allowed in there. I mean, we had security guards. All the practices were closed. But I think I could still find the notes that I took from 1971, 72, and 73.
That's elite.
But for me, putting a team together, it was the biggest thing. I think if you were a great shooter and the next guy beside you wasn't as good a shooter, then I had to make him feel good about passing you the ball.
Yeah. How can they compliment too?
Yeah.
Doing that.
And that's what you were. You were one of the greatest complimentary players ever, and one of the best passers ever, one of the best leaders ever. And so much of that, I felt like if I had 5 guys that would play together, I could beat the other guy.
Yeah. It was, as you talk about that, and before we get into how you got into coaching and stuff like that, as far as where you started, I want you to kind of like explain how hard and how you go about it, because that's not easy. Finding people who know how to play the game the right way. I always say, I'm not where I am if I don't play for you for 4 years, because you just learn. If we all tick the right way, everyone's going to succeed and everybody's going to eat. And sometimes I tell myself, like, that's one of the reasons I'm not as big as I could be, because I'm such an unselfish person that can hinder you sometimes. It can help you, but it can hinder you. And that's just all situational. But I never would get away from that, because I'm not the player I am if I'm not making sure Kennedy's getting his touches. Joel's happy. Justin's happy. Isaiah's getting his touches. Nate, when he comes in, he plays well. Like Mark, how do you get guys to, I mean, you're not playing them if they're not playing together, but at the same time, how do you find guys to come together as one? Because you did it at a high level, clearly.
Well, that's nice things back here.
Yeah.
I think that when I played, I always got more satisfaction out of passing the ball.
Yeah.
I mean,
agreed.
When I left the high school, I mean, I just went there this week. I saw a high school football game at my old high school. They took me in the gym, and they've got all these, helped them and gave them a little money and helped them build a weight room and all this kind of stuff. And they had the records of the high school up. And I looked up there, and I didn't have a single record up there. When I left, I had all of them. The only one I didn't have was rebounding. But I had points and free throws and shooting percentage and all this kind of But over time, I really got a lot of satisfaction out of passing the ball.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of guys that if I didn't get them the ball in the right spot, they couldn't score. And so for me, I tried to take that attitude as it was simple. I wanted to win.
Yeah.
And if I could get 5 guys to play together with a common goal, and for everybody to realize their strengths and weaknesses. And, I was not going to be the rebounding dude, okay? But I could guard and I could pass the ball. And so for me, trying to find 5 guys who could play together, and this is the biggest secret, and it's not a secret, the biggest focus, is to get everybody to understand, like you use the terminology, if we win, everybody gets to eat.
Everybody gets to eat.
You know, and so for me, getting 5 guys to make sacrifices, in some ways their own, but at the end of the day, if your team wins, you're going to be better off.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way life is. And so I did that in coaching. But for me, getting 5 guys who at the end of the game would be so ecstatic over a win.
Yep.
And go in the locker room and say, dang, I only got 4 points. But they wouldn't let that take over from winning. And so it's looking for people like Theo Pinson, like Joel Berry, like Justin Jackson, like Marcus Page, you know, getting together. Theo, you know, Isaiah and Kennedy were never the focus of our team, but everybody knew how important they were.
Very.
And so I think that, but it was, I initially, when I first started coaching, that was what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
In my first year, I mean, there's hope for every coach.
Yeah.
There's hope for everybody wants to coach.
NBA season is back, and we're sponsored by DraftKings. Head over to DraftKings and use our promo code RACE. New customers can bet as little as $5 and get $200 bonus bets instantly. We're still locked into the NFL season, and DraftKings is an official partner of the NFL. If sports betting isn't legal in your state, DraftKings still got you with daily fantasy. Make sure you head over to DraftKings and use our promo code RACE. DraftKings, the crown is yours.